Hello! How you doing? Welcome back to the Grow Room. We are on week 47 at the Grow Room here at the King Arthur. We've got a very, very, very special event this week. A complete and utter dedicated poetry session from Jamuna and Tony. Take it away, Jamuna, go.
Well, good evening and welcome. We have a wonderful evening here tonight, the Poetry Special. Good evening out there in the world and thank you. And yes, we have, I'll say no more, the wonderful local bard, Mr. Tony Atkinson. Please, thank you.
Good evening, Grow Room. Good evening, Grow Room. Good evening, No Room. Huh? No Room. I'd like to do some of my poems for you this evening. Haven't done any stand-up for a while, so it's quite good to get back into the jig of things. I'm going to start off with a poem that's called ID1. And I wrote this and presented it at the Unity Through Diversity event that we had, where the Glastonbury candle was taken around to the 90-odd known religions in Glastonbury. And this was my small little piece. ID 1. So to my foe, a fond hello, not born of desperation, though derived of life, conspired to spice a dull and sullen lull of low. And if the day should come that may alleviate or sense decay, a better we of unity to rift and sift and lift dismay. So onward to a balanced hue where mute respect reflects on cue of rationed view and passion few that quilts and jilts and lilts in you. And if disease midst enemies should stir a conscious heart to cease, another kind, met with in mind, will hint, tint, sprint to inner peace. Thank you. Thank you very much, Grow Room. So that's all very well and all lovely and fluffy and everything else, and we are in Glastonbury, so you can get away with that. But we are in this world at the moment, and everyone knows and everyone feels, and so this is a counteraction to that point, and it's called If This Is. If this is the end of the world, let me say this. Listen. Enlist. If this is the dark side inside, there is a way in within. If this is the sound of the word, make sure to say, hear, 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 hear. If this is the time to be heard, let yours insist, love all love. Thank you. I'm going to do one more from memory and then I'm going to read something for you. This is my John Cooper Clarke-esque poem. It's a poem I wrote years ago, and I discovered that if I did a sort of proto John Cooper Clarke accent when he was at Pilton a few years ago, that everybody there loved it. And so I think it works better in his, not quite his voice, but or similar. And it's called... No, it's called Faith. It's called Faith. I've lost my thirst. My faith has gone to a dizzy height, a losing streak. The last mirage I never reached. I blurred the past and past the blur. I've lost all faith. My thirst unquenched. A lust for life lost in the last forgotten trick in my repertoire. Or trick in my repertoire, if you prefer. I've weighed my loss and lost my way. That's it. I think the whole point about that poem is it's quite dark. It's quite, oh my God, I've given up on everything. But the last line changes everything. I've lost my way, so what? We all lose our way, don't we? Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your support. I'd like to do this one now. I kind of know There's 5 stanzas to this piece, and I kind of know 4 of them, so it's kind of like a comfort blanket more than anything, but I am going to have it at hand, yes. So when I was 10 to 12 years old, I was in care for a couple of years, and at the same time I was at grammar school, and it was quite challenging. I didn't really fit in anywhere. And we were in a lovely place in Westgate in Kent, and right by the sea. Couldn't have been better in some respects, but of course you weren't at home, and you were in this bizarre situation. And then subsequently, about maybe 15 years after I'd left there, 25, 26, I went back there as a carer myself. And I was looking after some kids with challenging behaviour and autism. And so I found myself in the place where I'd been cared for as the carer, and this thought came to me, and it's based around a lot of the images that I saw around me at that time. So here it is. So it's called Time's Tidal Wave. Excuse me. I saw the footprints in the sand, felt almost as if they were mine. And it all seemed so close to hand, stepping back from size 9 to 5. Through the sky of a shadow grey, glimpsed moonlight sun neath veil so fine, still lit the place we used to play and placed the haunts in spine-chilled dive. I saw a pastiche of postcards that time stamps and sends into mind. An edge of prom that no postcards as a picture to find the plunge. The start of the go-kart descent and the run down to cafe signed. Borders of shingle from beach meant mussel shells found time grind and gunge. I saw the scamper and hamper where we banked on the half-cliff side. Legs swung or huts where we tamper with view to wave in tide of crime. Above by the bench and bushes, below by the shelter we spied, the surge ride the white in pushes, and lapping at lip tried to climb. I saw yesterday surrounding, pools of thought were merged in reflect, a splash submerged and ducked sounding its nature to respect the crest. Forgotten's not lost but buried, memories awash in inspect, beholden as seagulls serried, fleet and floating, detect the rest. I saw nippers, doppelgangers, of children drawn out from their shells, the high and low dropping clangers, but through spring and neap swells they rose. The shoals swimming through time's channels, part of something the past foretells. Sponges, Piscean panels, lead backtracking brain cells to close. Thank you very much. I'm going to break out. I'm going to do a poem with some melody. I wouldn't say it's a song, it's a musical poem. And it's called Say When. And there's a verse structure and there's a motto that begins it, which is slightly different. So it's called Say When. The peace which surpasses all understanding is from within, without. Belief which surpasses all understanding is beyond any doubt. When will the will be as well of the hole in this hell of a hole, where the hollow are hills of the hold, the express of the cold, and the killed of all keeled to the knell of the no. When will the light be glistened to glow in the gel of the go and the grow so and so? Or the shrill of the shell as a synthesized show to the should and the shall and the shallow sickos, code in code. That's kind of it. That's why it's a poem, not a song. Come on, Crow Room, get it going. Where's the energy in here? Come on. This is the bardic drink of choice. It's mead. It's the honey wine. It coats the vocal cords, inebriates the brain sufficiently to not be too nervous on stage. And I would like to drink a toast to the Grow Room. Well done, we've made 47. Yeah, 47 more. Okay, this is it. This is one of the poems I'm famous for at Glastonbury Festival. We've done it there loads of times. I've also done it loads of times here. And this is one of those poems that sometimes comes out, and it's really welcome for people because they're in a certain situation. It's certainly something that happened to me. I think it's something that's happened to most people in their life, but there's a little bit of a message of hope in there, I suppose. And, you know, when you love someone and maybe they don't reciprocate or, you know, it ends messily or whatever, you need to sometimes just pull your boots up and get on with it. So it's called The Walk. Here we go. I looked up to see what I feared most. A gaping wound, a hollow shell that's nothing, silence, a lonely place. I tried so hard, I dared to ask, but you don't believe in wishing wells. Yet even so, it's not that unbelievable. To try to close your eyes and see what lies behind, but where's the sense in disguising laughter or forcing good intent? So all that's left of yesterday is a dizzy, slurred memory of every time you tried to drag me down. I jumped right back onto my feet. My life was still far from complete, and silence can be such a deafening sound. But I do the walk. And as a wise one once said, if you could do the walk, they'll all come back running in the end. I took the worst, I saved the day, a better time, a quiet life that's frightening, nervous, but worth the wait. I knew it then, I knew my friends. What I aimed for had to be precise or not at all. I thought, would I accept my fate? It was a time for making decisions, a time to forgive and make amends for mistakes and hard lines that were never really meant. So all that's left of yesterday is that dizzy, slurred memory of every time you tried to drag me down. I jumped right back onto my feet. My life was still far from complete, and silence can be such a deafening sound. But I do the walk. And as a wise one once said, if you can do the walk, they'll all come back. Running in the end. Thank you. Okay, time for something different. So last year we didn't have a bank in Glastonbury any longer, and it was quite a big deal for the area. And Nationwide decided that they would come and join us. And of course, Nationwide have been doing all these poetry adverts for ages and getting some really good talent through. So it's really nice to be involved with it. And they invited local people to submit a piece on the subject of community. And they then picked 3 people to actually perform it on the day. Actually a paid gig, 50 quid for 5 minutes work. Wow, if you could do that all the time, you know. So it's an acrostic poem. It's called Community, Community, Community. And you can see it's spelt out as the first letter of each line in the 3 stanzas, yeah? Okay. Community, community, community. Cordial acknowledgement of each other over every and other alternative makes everyone sister and brother, mothers and fathers and children. Unified co-pilots, contemplative, nearby if needed, but neatly hidden. Interfering with none, but awaiting the call of the clan to curb causative. Yins and yangs, as yet, under-relating. Cohabitants with one thing in common, our mutual care for locality, means complete and utter totality midst medians and modes of medium. Undivided and indivisible. Networks to connect individuals, intertwining to find a quorum, thereby fusing and conjoining the blend, yet able to express all they intend. Commonality in all that should be, obviously not needing more or less. Middle ground, allowing all to resound municipally and right the way round. Universally, all universes. Neighbourhoods watching to keep peace free. Intrinsically, for the blessed and blessed. Tutoring reciprocations well found. Yesnesses of given equality. Community, community, community. Well, thank you, Grow Room. You're a very supportive audience, which is always good for poets. It's quite a tough gig up here on your own. And yeah, what should we do now? I'm going to do... Okay, so my youngest child is 20 years old. And when she was born, this occurred to me. It's that moment of such infinite responsibility, but infinite love and complete lostness as a new parent. Excuse me. Perhaps even more for a man in a strange sort of a way. So I thought, how can I sum up this one of the most magnificent moments in my life? And somebody said earlier, brevity is everything in poetry. So yeah, it's a 5-line poem. It's called Baby Soft, and I like the fact that I wrote it. Here we go. The dreamlike drowse of your gentle snug in cotton clouds of lullaby songs is wasted on none. So just that moment, do you know what I mean? And when you connect with the eyes of your child, which brings me to the next piece, which is, this is called To Be, and it's like parent to be, dad to be, mum to be, whatever, but also in the Hamlet sense, to be or not to be. Yeah. That moment when you find out you're going to be a dad for the first time, you're going to be a mum for the first time. To be that. Amidst an early hour, I dwelt for a while on the miracle of life which has enriched both our lives, and pregnant with such expectation that the suspense is pure adrenaline, and what a rush. I find, amongst this exhilaration, my heart heavies for the fate that lies in wait for our gift to each other. Yet my soul, again my saviour, tells me all's not lost, as I just looked into the eyes of our child. Yeah. So that's kind of part 2 of this kind of 3-part sequence, if I can find it. There it is. So this is, so you've had the parent-to-be, you've had the newborn parent for the first time, and then this is, I suppose, at the end of the journey, and it's written from a woman's point of view rather than a man's. It's self-explanatory, it's kinesthesia, willful blending of the senses, but it's 6 stanzas because the 6th sense of motherhood is the title of the poem. Okay. I'll try and do the voice. Can you hear me, Mummy? I have no words as yet, but I can be funny or tell you when I'm wet. And standing, shaking my cot side, I'm gurgling and giggling and hearing, lie still, open wide. I'm worming, squirming, wriggling. Can you see me, Mummy? I'm such a happy tot with a ticklish tummy, in case you had forgot. And playing, showing off for you, I'm tunnelling and tumbling. And crawling under, over, through, I'm searching, lurching, stumbling. Can you hug me, Mummy? You make me warm inside. I'm your little honey, forever by your side. And teething, hurting both of us, I'm murmuring, I'm muttering, and trying not to make a fuss. I'm sweating, fretting, stuttering. Can you feed me, Mummy? With food and all you know, love me like I'm scrummy, together we will grow. And nursing, supping on my milk, I'm nestling and nuzzling, and laying on you soft as silk. I'm hushing, brushing, snuggling. Can you smell me, Mummy? I'm needing to be clean, not a happy bunny. Do you know what I mean? And gazing, watching the gunge go, and wrestling and wrangling and peering at the water's flow or boshing, sploshing, angling. Can you sense me, Mummy? I'm growing each new day. First breath from your tummy till I'm on my way. And thanking, breathing your life force, remembering your mothering. And minding all I touch, of course, and following and furthering. Thank you. So, back to the stuff that was once in my head. Yeah. So I wrote this originally for my granddad. My granddad, he fought in the Second World War in Burma. He got shot in his shooting arm, so he was one of the lucky ones and got sent home. But later on, when he made sort of his late 70s, he suddenly developed dementia. And so we had to do the thing that everyone has to do and let people go very slowly and gently, really. So it's called Playing the Waiting Game, Helplessly United. Take the mic, okay.
That's the one.
I'm here all week. So yeah, it's Playing the Waiting Game, Helplessly United. Though when you go, I can let go. I rue the very day's approach. So much undone, still to be done. Time ticks and tricks and trips our tongues. We hate this pain and taste such pain. Reflect, respect, and take the strain. We'd gladly swap. But if we swapped the other side, we'd just as not. Playing the waiting game. Helplessly united. Yeah. So apparently, if you go over a side of A4, you lose the audience, yeah? That's the general rule. But when you're doing a longer set like this, that does mean you're going to get through quite a few pieces. So, you know, yeah. Okay. A musical piece. Here we go. So this is called World Words, Worms Work. Okay. And it's 3 stanzas and a 1-word last stanza. And they each start with world, words, worms, work. Okay? Goes like this. World, celebrate each other. The obvious rhyme is brother, and sisters are doing it. Apparently. Words, elevate the living to orchestrate forgiving till everyone's doing it. Worms, speculate in waiting, with choice reverberating as one we are facing it. Works. World, words, worms, works. World, celebrate each other.
Gabby, hold the mic up to your mouth, we can't hear.
Okay, I'm terribly sorry. Yearn for Earn. Yes, this is called Yearn for Earn. For all that we are or purport to be, unseen is a distant reality. There have been a few who so nearly flew, but none have reached the same heights as you. I miss your kiss midst bliss of wish. I yearn for earn unlearning-ish, and sorrow suffered since such skit. Would action happen sense as skit? So on to make sense of the sad in soul, realize potential to fill up the whole to equal the sum of its parts, mind, soul, spirit, sense, balanced by heart. Thank you. I'm going to rattle through a few. I'm going to get me money's worth, you know. This one's called Poise. The way you move and hold yourself, a very joy to behold. Demure and sleek, how can one so meek's impressions be so bold? Your grace dictates the pace I find I'm falling for the frown fixed on your face. I mean, I'm melting in the moment in my mind, the meaning of refined. Yes, thank you. Okay, so in 2010, I was the Bard of Glastonbury, and the only one even up to speed who ever lived in street. We've now had 13, and it was quite something to take the robes across the causeway and, get to roughly somewhere near Morrison's and be the bard, be the freak, be the bard, be the freak, and sort of hopping along the equator of bardness and freakdom. Yeah, which is where I sit quite comfortably anyway. But I'm going to do a couple of short excerpts from my winning piece, which was called Around the Zodiac with My Shape-Shifting Spirit Guide. As you do. So the first one is the theme to the whole thing was actually flight, and it's kind of about what it's like to be a bard in terms of the theme. Okay. A bard must take wing. They must thrust with sheer guts or lift through selfless soliloquy. Float over hopeless with hopeful mots juste, soar with inspired integrity, and beat their metaphorical wings with such flapful intensity. Casting their words to the heavens to boost the air of their carefully pared down panache. Forsooth, seeking proof of what appears to hover over us. Not clouded or blurred, till what's onerous is feathered to no more than, alas. That's it. And then the other part from the same piece is comparing the Cúnanún, which are the hounds of hell, the wild hunt, the pack of Gwyn ap Nudd, who's the king of fairies who lives under the Tor, and comparing that to the Norse mythology and the Valkyrie. So here we go. The Cúnanún curs, those most hellish hounds, appear at first to fly Valkyrie-like. In stealth and savaging lurch, they savage and scavenge for wounds, each on opposite battlefields, purest unalikes. Yet, both Gwyn ap Nudd's sanguinist pack at work and Odin's noble soldier slakers, twixt otherhoods, soar and swoop, detect, select, glide, quite alike. Allegedly. I can do some more in that voice because I quite like it. Overtones on the surface, this is called. It's kind of a mirror rhyme. It's 3 short stanzas, mirror rhyme. Yeah. Oh, that all the soft sensations were readily accessible. Or that all the harsh temptations were cleverly insensible. There, as all the coarse creations are headily insatiable. Then, as all the inclinations are heavenly, unquenchable. See? Because the best intentions may everly be chaseable. Sense, because the fascinations may evenly be feasible. Thank you, Grow Room. I'm not going to outstay my welcome. I'm going to do a couple more, and then I'm going to introduce you to our next guest. So I'd like to do this one. Yeah. This one's self-explanatory. It's called Feral. We are not wild because we're unconscious or uncultured, but due to the fact that we're relaxed en virant. We could be changelings and shapeshift, just as we can make sense of the make-do and the makeshift. And our mischief is as renowned as any troop of monkeys who can muddle through many malarkeys somewhat darkly at times. Yet while the plaintiffs aren't painting the paychecks, we must wait till the pated and grey-suited booters finally kick themselves out of worse boozers. See? These brutal, abusive beer bruisers who choose to approve themselves into strange schools of the wasteland, the wasteful, the wasted, the hate-bound. Are, though not grounded or in touch with this earth, such wastrels and scoundrels. But soon they will have found that the ground no longer gives, so they must reap their own harvest, or slink back into the very holes they would have had us all inhabit, in their warped and fraudulent self-sense of what's meant for the so-called lower classes, perceived by the few as foul, feudal, and feral. Yet, without our wherewithal, they're lost, washed up, stuck in their own muck, and can only inherit the full force and ferocity of Mother Nature's most levelling karma. No drama, governor, we still will rise above you. But no wonder we're wild. Thank you. This is Glastonbury Grow Room number 47. So, to sign off, yes. How long ago? Maybe 1995, so 23 years ago. My sister was living in Scotland. I went up there. I had this lovely transformational nature moment, and I wrote this, High Nature. I'm not going to do the Scottish accent. I do sometimes, but tonight I'm not going to. Oh, right then. There's lots of rolling R's. That's the problem. Okay, I will. I'll go for it. It'd probably sound better in your brogue than mine, but you get the idea. Okay. Hey, nature. Somewhere between sort of Billy Connolly and Rab C. Nesbitt, I think. Yeah. I sat on the glen side with heather, blossoming before my very eyes. Even doon I could feel the feather, comforting pipers' lamenting cries. Distilling in humble we gather, like fading dreams in the northern lights. I chanted religion with real ken in a summit on Highland of Bray, as clan of the never say die men, but pride as a staff by the way. The spring brought the people to aye friend, with a peek at the peak, unafraid. I dwelt in a feast with Miss Purple, saw the sideburns of Burnside and Beard. Still the water saw in the whirlpool how the cup of becoming had cheered. Ruins of destiny's stone circle, Glen Eagles heard above with ear pierced. That's so difficult. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to leave you with this. Proclaim. I am but a man, yet my soul is my heart. And if you don't mind, my spirit is brain. A hunch medium gets you in the guts. A stomach to chance is this domain. But yesterday, gone present to the fore, second-hand space site, still sense of the same. Apart from the body, cuts to your proclaim. I've been Tony Atkinson. Thank you for having me this evening. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's my great honour to introduce a very good friend of mine, another exceptional bard who's going to be joined tonight by Nick and Dave Beach on music. I met Jamuna 13 years ago at the first Bardic Trials, and he's been an excellent friend of mine ever since. He's one of a dying breed. I love him to bits. Jamuna Fisher, give it up, ladies and gentlemen. Whoa!
Yeah, good evening. Thank you. Wonderful. What amazing evening. Poetry performance, without a doubt, Mr. Tony Atkinson. Thank you from within and without. I'm lucky to be here tonight. He said he's a dying breed. I hope he don't mean that. And these lads are just going to play some wonderful little tunes for, and I'll just be lucky and join in. Again, welcome to the wonderful Grow Room. What is it, 47? Thank you. Oh, thank you indeed. Well, tonight you've heard spoken words and bardic rhymes. They transcend fear and even time. They come right here through the ethers and celebrate now. I try not to wonder why or even how. I know from within the heart I'll let Confucius turn the plough. Hey, because we know truth and poetry will descend upon the tongue. We do not speak out now what will be the fate or the future for our children to come. Yeah, those spoken words and bardic rhymes, they'll transcend fear and even time. They'll come from the ethers and they'll celebrate now. I won't wonder why or even how. For within our hearts we let Confucius turn this plough. But I know it's sad to say, but I will have to say it right here today. Because we got holes in the ozone. We got holes in democracy. We've got holes in religion. We've even got holes in philosophy. I hear tit for tat, this and that. Every nation's forming queues. Negative views, no real clues. But still I hear a generation calling out so loud. Find the missing piece. Find the missing piece. Well, is that a piece of cake? P-E-A-C-E or P-I-E-C-E. Same doorway, you and me. And how long's a piece of string? And in this world where we live and sing, peace there is shit, they say. More bombs anyway. Still sad at the core today. And still I hear a generation calling out so loud. Louder still. Find the missing piece. Find the missing piece. I think I'll have a piece of this right here tonight with you. There's a piece, isn't it? Right here, growing right here. as we stand and declare and sing. Find the missing piece, yeah. I know they still sing. So rest and dream and sleep you well. Right out there where angels dwell. And bring these stories right back here for you and me. I still believe, I'm sure I can still see. Right here and now. Thank you indeed. Thank you, my lovely comments. Thank you. Bless you. Oh, yeah. Just tell you the story now. It's about, local, and it's not a weather forecast, but, you see what I mean. It's called Rain, or Elemental Rain. Rain tumbles down from the heavens to the ground, across the levels and down the Rees and Rhine, that's where the Mendips and the Quantots climb. Right there in the distance, looking so divine. Captures and enraptures me and you in rhyme. Hits the target every time. That rain just tumbles down. Oh, it does. Tumbles down now from the rooftops of your town, on the brightness and the holy, and in the gutters on the so-called lowly. For the left and for the right. For the darkness and the light. And for the cries and pleas of plight. That rain just tumbles down. There it is, on the plough and the stone, and on the youth and what they have known. And the truth, look, out there, all alone. Just like that rain. But let me tell you, the fields down here are still wide open. And the orchards, they still have space. And this is no Avalonian lament. I'll say here tonight is good time, well spent. Just like that rain. Let me say, it lifts my heart above the nation, above the abuse and the exploitation. Hey, but to the vision and the restoration, yeah, I can feel it right here in this rain. This is no Avalonian lament. This is good time right here, well spent with that rain. Thank you. We'll do a little story for you now, coming up to the near end of whatever he'll tell me. But this story is about where we are. Yeah, like talking for myself, I've just got to remember where I am. She's a precious jewel. Look, she dances in these heavenly skies, and she brings resplendent beauty right here to your very eyes. It's Mother Earth, you know, where we've taken birth and where our children play. And Mother Earth, I can see your rivers, they're running free. Hey, but freedom and vigilance for you and me. And Mother Earth, I see your hills and valleys, they flush so green. I know you've seen. And Mother Earth, your mountains rise so high. Oh, Mother Earth, this love between you and I. So would you teach us those ancient, sacred, spiritual, shamanistic ways, so we can know and enhance a future in coming days? Here on Mother Earth, where we'd taken birth. Mother Gaia, Mother Bhumi Devi, dear Mother Earth, that's where we'd taken birth. You know, that's where our children play. And we got children, you know the way. Dear Mother Earth, just teaches these ancient, sacred, spiritual, shamanistic ways, so we can know and enhance for future days. Here on Mother Earth, you know, that's where we'd taken birth. Unless I need my glasses or something, but yeah, Tony told a few stories about love. We'll just round off with a short little story about love. Love is like an ocean. It's a stone's throw deep. And in the moment, timeless. You never know where it's gonna sleep. But love will be open when everything else may be closed. Hey, you know, love is our evolution. It'll keep us on our toes. Yeah, and through the flowers and the fields, You know that's where nature heals. I can see how you reveal. And there at Fenny Castle where the river bends, you cast those rhymes and stories for future times, like now and our friends. For love is not like time nor tide. I say love waits for everyone. Thank you. Thank you indeed. Well enjoyed, are we?
Thank you, guys. Why don't you come and join me down here on the sofa? We'll have a little chat about what you do and who you are.
We certainly will. Thank you indeed.
Got a resident dog Bigsby here joining us for the interview this week.
He's an old friend of the family.
He is. Yeah. Vicious creatures that he is. Yeah. Yeah, if you want to take that mic, man. And you have to share it on the questions. Okay, amazing. Thank you ever so much for coming on. Tony, I know you. I work here. You come here and drink. I know you.
Allegedly.
Nice one, man. That's amazing. Dude, sorry, the dog's taking up quite a lot of the sofa. You kind of have to sort of like, just sort of...
Pride of
mate,
place.
if you want to come over and perch on this little bit here above Bigsby, but he's all right, he's fine. If you want to come over, if you want to come over here and just perch yourself up here, and well, you know.
So we're sharing the mic.
Right, cool. Okay, so obviously this is a bit of a different grow room. It's usually to do with musical talent and local musical talent or anything like that, but spread out into poetry, which is fantastic. Okay, so usually what I ask people is sort of what's the beginnings for you? Where did you? I mean, I usually ask people where do they first feel inspired by music and to do what they do? But in terms of poetry and literature and it comes into all sorts of different things like life and the universe and everything. But where did it all start for you? I mean, first off, Tony.
So for me, I always had words in my head. As soon as I could form words, as soon as I could spell, I had words in my head. And so it was very much a case of channeling those words and learning how to use them. But the material kept coming, and then at some point in your childhood, I think that magic rubs off a little bit. You become a bit more of an adult. And then you've got to try and tap into that again. So for me, that was where originally songwriting and then eventually poetry came in.
Okay.
Jamuna?
Do you want to have a go on that?
Well, yeah, I think for me also, music was always around me. Even when I was born, you could hear some on the radio and stuff like that. For me, getting involved with musicians like tonight, I'd like to say thank you, Mr. Dave Beach and Mr. Nick Bellora for your evening tonight. Thank you. Which brings me to say that I'm terribly inspired with what I'm saying and what I'm doing when it's in the music happening in the collective. Especially tonight shows that, yeah. And I think down here, there's so many people that have that ability to want to come out and do stuff. And I really find that great. And Bigsby will agree, won't you? Never worked with dogs and animals and kids. Is that what it is? No. But wonderful tonight, because that spoken word was obviously right there. And good. Thank you, Tony, as well, yeah.
So for you particularly, though, I mean, like with the, but that you say the music has drawn you in, but where for you personally did you find an inspiration to write down poetry about where you are, who you are, what you feel in this area? I mean, I can feel that a lot of your verses are to do with specifically around here. I mean, was it when you came to Glastonbury that you first started thinking in sort of poetry terms, or was it before?
Well, no, I've been lucky. I've been doing it for a number of years. What's how many? But and when I came down here, a friend of mine said they'll love what you do down here, and I thought, wow, that's great. What is it I do? You know what I mean? You don't see yourself in that way. But when I first came down here, I hooked up immediately with people. There were poets, musicians, jugglers, there were dancers, there were amazing people. And of course, the festivals around here are always on the boil, so I was totally inspired. But I remember one funny night, just, keep us all laughing. And I think the fella's still on the planet, but he used to run an open mic. I think it's a bit of a folk open night. So I got down, I said, I've only just got down here. My friend said to come along tonight. And he'd been playing, his music and that. I says, so I'm going to get up and do a bit of poetry. I said, I'd love you, to play your fiddle, play along. He says, no, I don't play the fiddle. I said, okay then, I'll just do it on my own. But they were great, they just took it on board, And I did silly things in the assembly rooms years ago where musicians came on. And as we started, they all laid on the floor. And the bloke at the back turned all the lights off, and it was really crazy. But it was spoken word, we just brought it out, and it was performance stuff, they used to say, yeah.
Okay, so in terms of where you want, how do I word this question? What is it now in a modern era? Because obviously, poetry has been going quite a while. What is it now that you think is more important than ever for you personally for poetry to be in a position in people's lives?
Well, first of all, I think, if ever there was a time to stand up and speak up, it's definitely now. But like I would say, in life, me as one person, what good can I do in the world? And the answer is always the same: not much, but something. And this is what I do. This is the little difference I can make in the world. And I think on a personal level, this is the thing I really like about the local bardic scene. On a personal level, you get to have one-to-ones with people, and you get to make a difference in their lives, and obviously that's reciprocated, and sometimes you're the person who gets the benefit from it. So I think, the world needs words more than ever, and the right words in the right places.
Go on, what do you think? Why do you think that it's so more important than ever now?
Well, now, of course, the world we live in, I'll say no more, but to be able to express how we're dealing with the world we're living in and the stuff that comes towards us, which sometimes we don't have a lot of to do with it. We've got to get on and do what we do and do it well, like he was saying. So, yeah, tonight's important, for me and for all of us, because we realise who we are and what we do. And that strength is so important in these silly times of illusion and confusion, conspiracy, dare I say. It's important that spoken word, that expression comes out, And it's good there's been no violence here tonight. I didn't even drop any glasses over. It's been a good night, hasn't it? And I'd like to say thank you to everybody being patient because we were, all catching up. But yeah, it's an inspiring place down here. The muse, again, just fills people up down here. And of course, I would imagine that how, in some wonderful way, it spurned the grow room because people like to grow into what they do. Whether you're going down the street dancing with no shoes on your feet or stringing on a mandolin that, has only got 2 strings, it don't matter. You're allowed, to do it, I've said enough for the minute.
That's a fantastic answer. Do you want to say a little thing about why you think it's important and why you think it's important to grow with these guys?
Yeah, I mean, I write songs myself since 1975 and make records, but I enjoy listening to poetry. If I go to a gig, go to the assembly rooms, I hear lots of songs, but like Jamunis, like you both said about this time, it's the right words in the right places is really important. And I think that poetry, like radio and photography, is having another great moment. Like, everyone's a photographer now. There's some amazing stuff out there. But poetry, I think, is something about it because it steps outside of a genre, perhaps, to do with music, which is, I don't know. But maybe it's the time for poetry, whereas once it was the time for rock and roll, man.
I'm going to ask a bit of a difficult question here. It's sort of similar to what I was asking these guys, but it's a bit of a blunt one. Why is it important?
Because I think maybe if you go back to the time where I grew up, in the 60s time, it was like that's the time when people were saying stuff in songs. But now we're in a time where people are saying it with poetry, and maybe it's more acceptable. I don't know. There's something about it that is. You can hear a harder line from poetry than you perhaps can in a song. I don't know. That's been It's like it's been put into siding music like that. It doesn't get through, but poetry does.
Yeah, again, it's that expression that's quite powerful, isn't it? You know. Yeah. I mean, it knocks me over when people go, "Oh, that was great, blew my mind," and I go, "Wow, great." I'm glad they enjoyed it because it does something. I suppose it's very important. It's a making of the spirit, you know. And that's the freedom we have left. We're able to express ourselves.
And I think in this world where language is sanitized and homogenized, and the use of spin and deceit is ever the most important thing in the world now. Because a poet, certainly a poet who's got their own voice and tends to write in their own style, that's beyond any government. That's beyond anyone being able to change or manipulate or order what you do. And that's the great thing about it. And, painters do it, dancers do it, musicians do it. Of course they do. But this is what we do. We do the word. Words are really important, more important than probably ever before.
Thank you ever so much. Quick little thing. We've got to round it up now, but go on, quick little interlude.
Please say hello.
Give us a piece of peace.
Yeah. Well, how long I've known you for? About a year, haven't I? So a bit longer. Doing this poetry, and I've been loved performing with Jamuna, really. Just doing his songs, backing for his songs. Yeah, got some good poetry going on there. So.
What does it mean to you? What does it mean to you? Why is it?
Yeah. Say again.
What does it mean to you? I mean, quickly we got to round it up. But why is it? Why would you say that you are more interested in playing with a live poet rather than a full band?
It's just a different thing. Not many people, musicians play with poets. To be honest, it's always just singers, usual band stuff. But with adding, music over poetry is quite interesting and quite. It's just different, it's just nothing,
Nice,
Yeah,
man.
cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Guys, so much for coming on for the Grow Room. Amazing. There's an amazing little interview here. Thank you, man. Cheers, man. This has been the Grow Room for number 47, our poetry special. Join us next week for 48. What we got next week? What we got? We're not sure. We'll get back to you on that one. But tune in next Thursday here at the King Arthur on Benedict Street. Come on down. If you can't join us for the live stream, come on down in person. Have some food, have some drinks. We've got the best selection of booze in town. Best people in town. Best pub in town. Come on down. Get on down here. Bye-bye.